Live Friday with the Game Changing Work channel with Roxana and myself, Veronica. And we are always improv unscripted. We have no idea what we're going to say today, but we do know the topic. And today's topic is what?
Future of remote, the new norm with choices.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay. I was live on YouTube as well.
Oh, I was like, what is that?
That was the problemo.
Yeah, you have to mute that. So those of you that have not live streamed before and you have open your other streams, make sure you mute them. All right. So this one, especially, I think, because we're game changers, Roxana. And by the way, her and I, you have the ability to measure your impact. If you haven't watched our previous shows, the recorded version, I will put that first show up in the YouTube as a recommended. But what it is, her and I, there's about 1,000 different types of variations of profiles. Her and I ended up having the same exact one on measuring how we want to put our energy to impact, to contribute. And by the way, you can actually do this in the Young People Index for young. So it's not just adults, it's actually young adults as well. It's awesome. And what this is that it allows us knowing a little bit more about ourselves and how we get to action and how we approach things. And it's above in the layer before you actually what drives your behaviors and skill sets. And so with that said, we're game changers. And so you're having two game changers, not only it's game changer strategists, talk about the subject of choices. Okay, we are fearless. We're used to change. We see all the possibilities. So when it comes to choices, it's like slow your roll, Roxana and Veronica, because we see them. And so we might go off a little bit on the deep end. What do you think today?
Well, I think, yeah. But because you also mentioned the Young People Index, what I want to start with is some feedback that we got after our last show that we did on Wednesday. So again, if you haven't watched that one, go ahead and watch it. That was super interesting. We had our first guest on the show all the way from South Africa. That was awesome. And we had some feedback on it from somebody who watched. She's a teacher, and she gave us this feedback. She watched it on Facebook Live because we're streaming everywhere live. Yes. Facebook and YouTube. So she said, my students are doing a big project on ethics and remote working post-COVID-19. Great chat, because they're actually going to use the chats to brainstorm and discuss and, come up with ideas of how the future of work is going to be. And I love that. Yeah. Because this is why we're doing this. We're trying to create a future of work that we're happy with and proud of, but not just us working now today, but for the future generations too. So that's awesome that they're watching, and they're watching from China.
Oh my God.
I love that.
My best friend actually lives in China. If she's ever watching, hi, Debbie. I used to actually be a teacher, and oh my gosh, kids, and I would say kids, but it's really young adults and any age, in truth. We talk about these subjects, but it's not, you are so right. It's not for just the adults. It's the people that are going to be coming into the workforce. There's so much opportunity. And so when we get to back to the conversation of choices, the younger you are, your trajectory of the paths that you take are far greater than someone that's older.
Yeah.
And so if you educate yourself, you are learning to experiment and learning that failure is an opportunity to learn. You have so much more opportunities out there on those paths because you'll be able to make better decisions.
Yeah.
And so it's huge when we say about choices become so much better when you are able to make the right decisions.
That is one. Another thing that comes to mind when we talk about choices, and we'd love to get your view on that, by the way. So if you're on YouTube or on Facebook, catching us live or afterwards, just drop your questions and your feedback and your comments in the comments there, because it's up to all of us to come up with the new or the new normal. We cannot even call it the new normal yet, because it's not normal, and it's not going to be for a while. Probably we're
What
trying
is
to
normal?
find it, right? Exactly. So we're all creating the new right now. So when it comes to choices, and this is why I liked the topic for today, was because when we initially started the whole lockdown and remote working the way it has been so far since the pandemic hit us, it wasn't out of choice. It wasn't because we wanted to
Yeah.
all work from home and work remotely and stuff like that, right? So it was, we could still work, and this is how we could still do it. But it wasn't because we chose it. And that's why, for some people, that was sort of like a dream come true, because they've always dreamt of working remotely and being able to do that. And maybe sometimes the companies wouldn't offer this kind of flexibility. But for some of the people, as we saw last time, and Monique was saying, it's driving me crazy. I cannot get used to working remotely all the time. So that was sort of like a no choice area, or it was the way that we were looking at it. I have no choice but to do this, but to work like that. So what we can do now is ask, well, okay, so what can we do in this situation right now to improve it? That's what
Yeah.
we're all about here. How can we work remotely, but better, not just a passive thing? How can we involve each other and engage in each other and work in different ways so that we feel good about it? What's the choice here?
And it's different for everyone. And that is where we, and I actually had a post this morning, weirdly enough. I think sometimes, they always say there's nothing such thing as coincidences. That is subconsciously.
Yeah.
Well, I posted about persecuting versus being a challenger.
Mm-hmm.
And we also can look at it as victim versus creator when it comes to empowerment. And we're first going to centralize how it impacts us in the I, right? I, how it's impacting me. And that's good, because you want to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. But and I think when we talk about choices in the future of work, we first want a person to identify what's important to them, right? What's their core values? Who are they?
Yeah.
But also realize that other people out there have different needs. And so as long as we're open and we're having these conversations and being a creator instead of a victim, and being a challenger instead of a persecutor, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these different things when it comes to what we call empowerment and enable, that will allow us to create a future of work that is going to be able to make everyone feel like they are having all their needs met.
Yeah.
And this starts with talking.
Oh, that I think you just that's spot on, because the way, I talk to so many people and they tell me, oh, I feel overwhelmed. I'm like on the brink of burnout. I'm so busy. I have no time for anything. These are coming up more and more often, and I think just being able to be in a group where people actually listen to you, to what you have to say, and where you listen to them, and then you have this conversation where you just share. There is no, like, you don't judge, you don't think about solutions necessarily, because they would come up, but it's just like, okay, hear me out. I think people need to hear each other out.
Oh my gosh. You're
It's
talking to me right now, and my dog is wanting to be a guest star in our show. I'm going to have to get him.
he wants to be heard out. Come on.
You want to come on the show?
Welcome.
Come on. All right, guest star. So, talking about choices, I can actually bring Remy on, and he can say hi to the world.
Hello, Remy. Good morning.
So, you were so rude to Roxana as she was talking.
Yeah, like I was talking, Remy. Come on. Keep it up, please.
And this future of work, as Remy wanted to make a guest star, it's talking in the needs. So even though I was trying to pay attention, how many of you have been in a meeting like this and your dog's scratching, your kid's doing something, and we're not acknowledging what's actually happening in our world? And I think if we're more honest and let it in, that's going to help us narrate, right, if I'm trying to get the right words out of my mouth here, is narrate what we want that future of work to look like. Do you want to be able to have your baby on your lap? Do you want to be able to tell people, I'm having a crappy day, you know what, I'm going to tune out for an hour? Does it really, in an organization or what you're working, going to eliminate the value that you bring as a person, a human being, in the ways that you can contribute? And a lot of people will suffer. They're like your kid is running around like crazy, but you're feeling like you have to ignore your child because you have to work.
Or hide the fact that they're there. I mean, it's like, why? And I think, and it's so true. And I think we're becoming better at that. I think we're more flexible. I think we're actually the most flexible that we've ever been with each other right now in this kind of environment, because never again did it happen before that people could actually bring their kids and people wouldn't mind, people on the other side of the screen wouldn't mind it.
Or how you get ready.
Or, yeah, right?
I mean, yeah, I kind of spruced up a little, but I was up, I'm going to be honest, I was up against getting online today. And I was like, you know what? I might have to go in my pajamas if I can't get moving any faster.
Oh, we need to, by the way, you gave me an idea.
Should we come on the show with our PJs?
I do. I want to have a pajama party with everybody who's watching. And because, I mean, we start our show at 8:25, right? We do it for people who are here before they start working. So why not? Why not have a pajama
My dog
party
is eating my paper.
See, okay, perfect. So, okay, I will talk to you people as Veronica is dealing with Remy, her dog.
Yeah, he takes the dog, ate my homework to a whole new level. So again, I'm sitting here trying to do a live event and my dog is going wacko.
So there it is. And you have a choice, right? What's your choice here? Go nuts about it, or actually, state the obvious and let the dog in. I mean, come on, we're people here. We're not robots. I think that's the choice. Do you want to do you want to keep functioning on autopilot as we had for so long, or do we want to reset and push the human button again? Right?
It's almost like, you see how I didn't freak out? And we have this need for perfection. I have to look a certain way before I get on video. My background needs to be perfect. I mean, green screens and all these background images are just blowing up these days. Yeah. When you actually allow yourself to be put in that situation, you're creating stress and your body is already triggered, in your emotional triggers, already in a state of anxiety. Yeah. And when you're in that state, you can't think correctly. And I think that's why it's so important for us to allow ourselves to be as humans, because we're going to actually be more productive and better about it, because I can still probably keep my myself more in that creative and idea state and really thinking, because I'm not feeling anxiety right now. That did not trip me up at all.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you say, but I think I think we're still learning that, because I think it was so ingrained in us that we need to look profesh.
Oh yeah.
Right? We need to look perfect. We need to look as if we're just out of the box right now, because that's the way that people would take us seriously. There is no other way. There was no other way before. That was it. And I think we need to unlearn that so that we're able to relearn something that's better for us, that's less stressful, that's less traumatic. Because you have that, you talk about split identity, and that's what has been happening for so long. And that's why people were so unhappy at work for so long, because they had to be somebody else, somebody that they weren't actually, that they didn't feel they could relate to.
And we learned this all from at the point of grade school.
Yeah.
Grades.
Yeah.
Oh, you did such a good job. It's polished. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We teach at such a young age to think and act this way. So by the time you get into the workforce, you're a hot freaking mess. You got to unwind all that. And our generation that we're in, we're in the state of unwind.
Oh yeah.
Coin a new one.
Yeah.
That there's the younger age, they're starting to introduce all these other things nowadays. So there's a lot more hope for them not to have to unwind as they get older. Yay, good for you, but we're a mess. And it's this unwinding of all the programming that has happened to us since we started probably daycare. You did it so well. It's so good. Perfect. What does it tell us?
So, and that's how we learn that, failure is not an option. And anyway, I don't like the word failure at all, because to me it's all trial and error. And we punish errors, right? We like with kids in school or in kindergarten even. It's like, what have you done? No, this is not the way to do it. And then I will punish you. I will give you maybe a lower grade. And then you learn that whenever you make an error, you're going to be punished one way or another. And then we continue with it all the way through adulthood, and we take it in the workplace. Only that in the workplace, we expect people to be mature and adults about everything. And guess what? They're not. They're gonna react to being punished. They're gonna react to errors because that's how we're taught.
I want to change that word. It's funny because if you look at some words, they actually change their meaning. Now, is that the disruptive me coming out? That I want to actually change what the word failure means.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, and we got to look this up. And any of you comment if it has happened already and I just haven't looked it up. I want the word experiment and learn in the definition.
Yes.
I want to Google it one day. I don't have, instead of Webster dictionary, looking it up on paper. That just shows my age of but Google and experiment and learning and opportunity. I even like that word. Are all in the definition of failure. So we actually changed the meaning of that word.
So I just put it as a caption because, again, why
I like it.
Do that.
Oh my gosh.
For me, I think, failure is all about, failure is when I tried something and it really didn't work, so I will just give it up. That is failure to me. That is, I give up right now because it failed and there's no point in continuing. With trial and error, we learn as we go. It's and we learn like that since we're little kids, right? When we learn how to walk, this is how we learn. Trial and error. We fall, we get up, we fall, we get up, and then one day we just walk and we are balanced like that.
the beauty of, I love to watch little kids because they have no idea of this word.
Yeah.
And it's so precious and nice to see even creativity. We can go on and on about this subject. Maybe that's a topic for us if you guys are interested.
Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah. That it's so nice to see that the world has not defined that for them.
Mm-hmm.
And you see them all the time trying errand, they'll build something and you're just like, what the heck is that kid doing?
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't stop them. They just keep going and they just do all these random things. And it, they have so many videos out there today, like a kid trying to do something and until they finally figure it out. They're so cute. And we're like, oh, they're so cute. Now, when you watch an adult do it, do we say it's cute? Or do we laugh at them and say, oh my God, that's so pathetic?
I think that actually, why I loved the whole post-lockdown time, when actually adults started to come up with creative ideas around doing everything, like people singing in the streets, or on balconies, or I remember they were playing tennis from one rooftop to another, all sorts of ways of being creative. And I remember all of the artists, a lot of singers and a lot of actors, they started doing things online. Orchestras, full orchestras, they were just putting on everything that they had, and they were offering it online
people, right?
for free. It was amazing, tapping into this kind of creativity. I think this is what a crisis does. It just enhances creativity because we need to survive. So creativity is an essential skill for survival and also for thriving. I think that's what we need to build on.
And I'm going to even add on to it, unique creativity. Nothing is silly, I think this is where we need you. This is kind of like we want you poster, is that we need you to come out. We need you to come out with this awesome, crazy ideas of uniqueness out there that inspires us, gets us thinking in a very creative way.
Yeah.
And I say it in a positive way, not necessarily in a bad. I'm talking about positive toward state people here. It's more of, it just unlocks us.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, the arts and schools and a lot of things, they lose their funding because people don't value it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to give a shout out to all of you that might be the creatives. We'd love to hear from you and get your comments about this, because I'm sure that, if you are in a school system and you maybe lost your job as an art teacher, or there's funding or any kind of art program, right? Now's the time that I think people take your wallets out, companies take your wallets out and start investing back into the arts. It is time to have that creativity be unleashed, because it draws such positive emotions with us. So when we talk about the future of work and choices, maybe one of the choices is that, hey, companies, introduce arts. I just came up with a crazy idea. Game changer in me. Is why don't they have art programs in the companies?
And talking about this show not being scripted, and we were talking about improv at work, so that's another one.
That's my new norm. I'm making it up right now.
Yes.
You know what? I'd be very interested if there's a company out there that my idea might not be that original. That's okay. But I'd love to hear from you or if you work somewhere that they actually do this. They introduce arts into the company.
Mm-hmm.
So music, any kind of thing that's artistic to help drive that creativity. And it's part of your programs and things that you offer inside your company. Maybe you get time, like a day, to do that. That is, like, I think that would be really cool for every company to do it. They talk about well-being, and then they, like you see Pilates coming into, but what about artistic expression?
Exactly, because that's what saved us when we were all isolated at home and we couldn't get out for to buy stuff only just once a week maybe. So I think arts and science is what kept us alive during this whole lockdown.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do that more regularly, because I know there are companies who are offering that as, I don't know, team building events once a year, but it's not, offering it once a year is not going to help. That's not going to do the trick. You have to be able to have a more regular program where you do, I don't know, improv or music or painting or dancing, whatever it is, because that's actually very helpful when we talk about mindset, stress levels, anxiety, motivation and engagement, because it just brings people together. Just do an improv. I was organizing training sessions when I was in learning and development in corporate, and I would organize training sessions with people who were actors in business, and they were doing classes through improv. And that was bringing people closer together, because just have a group of people who are laughing together, they will be working better together.
Oh, and I'm hoping I can get her, folks. This is a tease. I have one of my classmates in my brain-based coaching certification program is a humorist. And we're probably going to have a pre-recorded session because she is in a different time zone and it's not going to fit her morning. But I want her to come to the show and talk about this subject of laughter. That is what she does. Cool as shit. So, Karen, I hope you can come and be our guest. She said she would. So cross your fingers. And any of you that are watching right now, either live or after the show, let us know if you're interested, and also, bringing humor and what might have you, so we can encourage her to come on the show and be our guest. So please comment and let us know on that, because that's going to also help, people, especially when we have special guests and we're trying to get on, that encouragement that they want her. So let us know.
That's great that you mentioned that, because actually we can just let us know what you're interested in talking about, and what your struggles are, and what you would like to hear from our guests on the show, and then we can see who we can invite. I mean, we're doing this for everyone working out there and everyone who wants to change the work environment for the better. So we can do that together. There's no clear general recipe of how that's going to work. So we can create recipes together.
Yeah. And you know what? Another thing that I'm interested for some of you that might be out there watching, especially now since we have people in education, do you do improv? Do you have any improv stories? That would be kind of cool to find out, like what schools actually introduce improv. Not just in, some of them, I remember when I was in high school, we had the drama department, but it was like the silo of the drama department. But what about in every classroom, you're actually introducing improv in your teaching? I would love to hear about that, because that is pretty cool. I had to ask.
And I think it's a must-have. It's not a nice-to-have anymore, because it's so linked to self-care and mental health and health in general.
Oh, yeah.
It's not creativity for the sake of creativity as such. It's just creativity that we need, so we're able to come up with solutions that work. That's what creativity is all about.
Oh, yeah. And we are getting to the end of our show.
Oh, good.
I know.
Why?
So we have our subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
That's the best way. And we follow us on LinkedIn. And we have the Game Changing Work page there. We are waiting for the day for us to be approved to do LinkedIn live streaming. So if LinkedIn, you're watching us, please allow us and approve so we can do it. Otherwise, we just are everywhere else. But you can always catch all of our recordings on YouTube. So that's great for you to subscribe.
Yeah.
We also will be having a newsletter. So any kind of things that are events or things that we're doing outside of our live TV show, or it is TV because you're watching. It's the new TV, right? TV streams. So
yeah, exactly. Different kind of TV, another choice.
Yeah. So you, please, all of you, subscribe to our newsletter so you'll never miss a beat of what's going on in Roxanne and my crazy world. And I say crazy as a good thing because I like crazy. Now, Roxana, you have a.
No, you start now.
First.
I put your caption.
All right, so I have a free webinar. It's going to be coming up pretty soon here on the 4th of what type of Scrum Master are you? And so this is going to dive into where you want to put your energy and contribute and really hone in on that special sauce, as I call it, of the type of Scrum Master. So it's more of looking at a Scrum Master as a career and the impact that you can bring. Because you can actually make a difference in this role if you start to look at that. So come join my free webinar as we dive into the type of Scrum Master that you can be.
Oh, awesome. I told you I'll join you because I'm really curious to find out more about what you're preaching there. A door opening. Okay. And so my webinar, I actually have several dates for it. It's called Lead for Legacy, Be a Dream Boss for yourself and for your dream team, because the dream was that we're happy at work, that we're dream bosses, that we're going to build dream teams, and that we're going to feel good about how we work, right? Because that is our life, right? So let's not wait for the dream to turn into a nightmare. It can still be a dream and we can still go for it.
Awesome. So it is 8:56. It's time to end the show. But next week, what's our theme next week?
Self-care for high performance.
So we will be posting out on YouTube our upcoming live shows. We're going to be getting that ready. So it's all going to be around self-care and performance is the theme. And then you'll find out what the topics are on YouTube. And we'll also create our LinkedIn event within our page. So stay tuned.
Okay. Hold on, because I know we're late, but I want to add this caption on because it's important. I think people need that, and they need to know what we're going to talk about next week. So put your questions in the comments if we want us to answer any of your questions next week.
Or very particular topic around this thing. Yeah, please let us know.
Okay. Have an awesome weekend, everybody.
Sayonara.
Over and out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.